Yeah, but you just blew into your hand and held it. I mean, that's not holding your breath. You don't have the world record, I'm sorry. Hello, my friend. Wow, what is happening with my hair? Is this real? That's happening right now? Dear God. Okay, the salt experiment. If you haven't seen this, it's a really cool experiment. Banana TV is the channel on YouTube, and she did an experiment where she went from very low sodium, I think. I mean, I haven't followed her, but I believe it's like she doesn't eat much salt, and she went from adding no salt to her meals to a lot of salt. The average American level of salt intake. So like 3,500 milligrams a day. I almost didn't watch it because she's adding 1.5 teaspoons of salt to her meals now. And I was thinking, no matter what you're doing, there's going to be a dramatic change and it's not going to be good. And it's too exaggerated. But it really, what she's doing is showing what the average American eats in salt, and then she's replicating it to show you what the symptoms were. And they were pretty dramatic. I mean, she looks very healthy, and then she starts the diet and she just starts getting bloated and fat looking, where it's just water retention, but she looks fat, and her eyes, she got like huge bags under her eyes. It looked like she was sick, like having an allergic reaction, like stung by 100 bees or something. So very cool experiment, but it's very different when you compare 2 different diets and your salt needs. So let me just dive right into it. High carb diet needs very little salt. High fat diet needs a lot of salt. Here's why. Basically, high carb diet has you producing a lot of insulin. Insulin helps you retain the sodium you eat. So you could be eating a very small amount of sodium and retain it all, because insulin does that for you. So high carb diets don't need to eat a lot of salt because they keep it. So they can retain enough water, and that's what sodium does. It helps you retain the water in your body. So the difference on a high fat diet is we have very low insulin needs. Insulin is mainly for carbohydrates to usher it into your cells. When we're eating lots of fat, fat doesn't need insulin to be used as fuel, and it's a very different experience. So with our low insulin levels on a high fat diet, we lose a lot of salt. So instead of retaining it, we need to replace that salt. So when you're eating high fat meals, you want to throw olives on there and salt it up and seaweeds, and you need that or you're going to experience some symptoms. So when I was eating high carb and I was starting to add more salt in, my ankles started swelling up and my legs were puffy. They were huge. I was like, am I buff right now? Am I the buffest man on earth? Because my legs are huge right now. But no, when I would press my ankle and let go, it would stay there. My thumbprint would stay there. It was insane. I was retaining water in my ankles just because of the salt. But the weirdest thing, I went on the high fat diet. I actually increased my level of salt, and I just peed all that water out. I peed it out, and it's not there. So I'm not retaining any water. So that's interesting. So it's not just like salt causes this problem. It very much depends on your diet. And another thing I will say, on the high carb diet, you have a ton of glycogen all throughout your body, all throughout your muscles. In order to store sugar in your body, you also store water. I forget if it's like 1 gram of sugar needs 4 grams of water or something like that. When you're on a high fat diet, you deplete the glycogen. You're also not storing as much water, so you need that salt to help you keep the water so you're hydrated. It's weird because you eat more salt and you're more hydrated. Whereas on high carb, you eat that salt, you're dehydrated because you don't need it. Your body keeps it, and you already have all the water from the glycogen, and now you got water from the salt, and you're just a puff blueberry ball of something. Okay, so that's it. I just wanted to give you my thoughts on the salt experiment. If you're on a high carb diet and you start adding in a lot of salt, you're probably going to go through what she went through. But if you're on the dark side, like me, eating high fat vegan foods, nut butters and avocados for your calories, you need that salt. So salt it up, and that's tasty, delicious. It's so delicious, the high fat. My God, why aren't we all doing it? I mean, fruit is delicious in its own right, and when I have a small bit of fruit, I love it. But man, those salty, fatty foods, isn't that what we all want? I mean, I want it, and that's why I'm eating it, and good times ahead. So the salt experiment, I'm doing it on high fat, and all the opposite things are happening to me that happen to Banana TV, just because their diets are different. So think about that. Think about that. All right, thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more videos. Why am I leaning forward now? I don't know. Share it, comment, like it, throw a frisbee at it. Please do that one. If nothing else, just throw a frisbee at me. I'll try to catch it. All right, take care, my friend.